Hello and welcome back to EFD, where today we are looking at the 10 best transfers you may have missed this January. While there have been little to no blockbuster moves so far, there have been a few interesting deals worth paying attention to. Let's go. 10. Noa Lang. One of the latest players to emerge from Ajax's star-producing academy is 20-year-old winger Noa Lang. Having crept onto the scene with 45 minutes of league football last year, Lang has begun to make an impression this term with 3 goals in 5 appearances for the Amsterdam club. And he has even made his Champions League debut, making 3 appearances in the competition so far. But Ajax clearly think it is time for the Dutch under-21 international to get more minutes under his belt, so have sent him to FC Twente for the second half of the season. It could be the perfect move for Lang, who started on his debut for the Tuckers last weekend in a 1-1 draw away to PSV Eindhoven, a result that will no doubt please his parent club. Having achieved promotion back to the Eredivisie last year, the 2010-11 champions are currently in 13th as they look to re-establish themselves as a Dutch force. So the addition of a talent as big as Lang could be an excellent piece of business. While it is only a 6-month loan, it is a great opportunity for Lang to show the footballing world just how good he really is. Before we move on to our next transfer, if you aren't subscribed to Euro Football Daily already, what are you doing? Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss another video like this. 9. Diego Demme. Out of all the big sides in Europe, Napoli have been one of the busiest this transfer window as they look to rescue what has been a terrible season so far. And joining Stanislav Lobotka and Amir Rahmani in heading to Naples this month is RB Leipzig midfielder Diego Demme, who is signed for €12 million. The German leaves the club after 6 years, having made 214 appearances for the Bundesliga side. And it seems like a strange decision by Leipzig to let him go. The holding midfielder had been a consistent presence in their side, with 14 starts in the league and a further 4 in Europe this season. And with Julian Nagelsmann's team topping the Bundesliga, it's a surprise to see the side altered mid-season. Napoli, by contrast, desperately need some midfield stability. Stuck in 10th, they have already conceded 29 goals this campaign, just 7 less than they conceded in the entire 2018-19 season. Demme is famed for his work rate in front of the defence, having averaged 4.1 tackles and interceptions per 90 for Leipzig this term. And at 28 years old, there's no surprise he fancied a new challenge, and there are not many bigger right now than trying to return Napoli to their former glory. 8. Dani Olmo. With the money collected from the Demme transfer, RB Leipzig have been quick to reinvest in one of Europe's most sought-after talents, Dani Olmo. The former Dinamo Zagreb man had made quite a name for himself in Croatia. This season alone, the attacking midfielder has managed 3 goals and 3 assists in the league, with a further 2 goals and an assist in the Champions League. His form was so impressive that former Spain coach Robert Moreno gave Olmo his international debut in November 2019. And just minutes after coming off the bench against Malta, he was on the score sheet, as his side ran out 7-0 winners. A number of Europe's biggest sides had been following the Barcelona Academy graduate, including his boyhood club. But clearly the opportunity to play for one of Germany's most exciting teams in RB Leipzig was too good. The East German side have paid an initial €20 million for his services, though that fee could rise. The 21-year-old is yet another attacking talent in a side featuring Timo Werner at the top of his game. The German has scored 20 goals in 19 appearances, averaging a huge 4.5 shots per match. With Olmo alongside him in the team, those statistics could be set to improve even more. 7. Jean-Clair Todibo. Another youngster set to shine on a loan spell in 2020 is Barcelona centre-back Jean-Clair Todibo, who has been sent to Schalke in Germany to get more game time. With Gerard Piqué, Clement Lenglet and Samuel Umtiti ahead of him in the pecking order, the 20-year-old struggled to make an impression at the Camp Nou. His 77 minutes of action this term is in addition to just 150 minutes he played in 2018-19. In fact, he had only made 10 senior appearances for Toulouse when Barcelona snapped him up a year ago, so is still relatively untested at the top level. But his talent is undeniable. In his Champions League debut away to Inter Milan, he was arguably the Blaugrana's best player, completing 8 tackles and 4 clearances against an attack featuring Romelu Lukaku and Lautaro Martinez, as his side claimed a crucial 2-1 win. He joins a resurgent Schalke side pushing for a Champions League spot under the guidance of former Huddersfield boss David Wagner. And what makes the transfer even more interesting is the fact Die Knappen have a €25 million option to buy at the end of the loan. So if Todibo impresses in Germany, then he could be set to stay there. 6. Roberto. West Ham fans will not be sad to discover their backup keeper Roberto has been sent on loan to Deportivo Alaves for the second half of the season. Sadly for the Spaniard, he had begun to represent everything that was going wrong with the London club, with his displays often panned by the supporters. With influential number 1 Lucas Fabianski out injured, the former Atletico Madrid and Benfica keeper was fast-tracked into the starting 11. But having not featured at all during the 2018-19 season while at Espanyol, he was hardly match fit. Sure enough, Roberto endured a disastrous 10 games, conceding 21 goals, including 3 in 3 consecutive games. His save percentage rate of 66% was shocking, especially compared to Fabianski, who made more saves than any Premier League keeper last term. The situation was reportedly so bad that the Hammers' defence had lost all confidence in the 33-year-old. Darren Randolph has returned to provide a much-needed familiar face in goal for West Ham, and it seems highly unlikely Roberto will be welcomed back to East London anytime soon. 5. Youssef En-Nesyri. Not many sides in European football love a transfer as much as Spanish outfit Sevilla, who brought in 15 players for a total spend of €158 million last summer, adding to the €80 million they spent on 12 players the year before. While their books are often balanced by player sales, it's still a serious turnover of talent. Their latest addition is former Leganes striker Youssef En-Nesyri. The Moroccan arrives for €20 million despite having only scored 4 goals in 20 appearances for the La Liga strugglers. Unsurprisingly, he has been brought in to replace Javier Hernandez and Munas de Boer, both forwards who have come and gone during failed 6-month spells in Andalusia. Sevilla have been severely lacking a finisher this season, with their top scorer being attacking midfielder Lucas Ocampos on 5 goals. Their other strikers Luke de Jong and Munir have only contributed 6 goals between them, though Julian Lopetegui's side still sit 3rd in the table. At 22 years old, En-Nesyri is a young prospect and did manage 9 goals for Leganes last season. Plus, he scored twice for Morocco in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations, adding international credentials to his CV. A step up to a better side like Sevilla could be just what's needed to unlock his potential, but considering how Los Palanganas operate, he may not have long to impress. 4. Julian Weigl. Julian Weigl's Borussia Dortmund career has come to a lacklustre conclusion after he transferred to Benfica for €20 million this month. Once tipped to be a future star of German football, over 4 seasons the midfielder's game time has gradually decreased as his influence on the team waned. In 2018-19, he started just 16 games, compared to 20 and 27 in the seasons before. While injuries played their part too, Lucien Favre has always preferred the more robust Thomas Delaney and Axel Witsel in the midfield. And his performances have been getting worse. The 24-year-old maintains a career average of 4.8 tackles and interceptions per match, though that figure has dropped to 1.8 this campaign. However, things have already picked up for him in Portugal, as he's averaging 4.4 tackles and interceptions in his 3 games for the Eagles so far. Last summer, a number of clubs were chasing Weigl, including PSG, while Pep Guardiola was said to be a huge admirer of his talents before signing Rodri from Atletico Madrid. But it is Benfica who have ultimately claimed what could be a great piece of business. The German hasn't won an international cap since 2017, so we'll be hoping a resurgent spell in the Liga NOS can force him back into Joachim Löw's plans. 3. Exequiel Palacios. Already this winter, we have seen a number of South America's top talent leave their home continent and head to Europe. Next to follow that well-worn path is new Bayer Leverkusen midfielder Exequiel Palacios. Signed from River Plate for just €17 million, the 21-year-old already has an international cap for Argentina, and arrives having already won 3 domestic trophies and the 2018 Copa Libertadores. A box-to-box midfielder, Palacios managed 10 goals and 11 assists in 78 games for River Plate, but is famed for his defensive work rate too. This season, he was completing 3.9 tackles and interceptions per 90 to complement his attacking threat. So it is no surprise to hear he is a self-confessed fan of Toni Kroos, who operates in a similar fashion. Bayer Leverkusen have a history of unearthing South American talent, having introduced, say, Roberto, Arturo Vidal and Charles Anguisse to the European game, so they could offer a perfect platform for Palacios to grow. And with Kai Havertz seemingly destined to leave in the near future, there may be room for a new young star in the squad to emerge. 2. Mario Mandžukić. While Palacios' career is only just beginning, one man in the twilight of his playing years is Croatian star Mario Mandžukić. The forward has called time on his stellar career in the European game with a move to Qatari side Al Duhail, despite being linked with Manchester United in recent months. The former Wolfsburg, Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid star left his previous club Juventus on a free, having been frozen out by new boss Maurizio Sarri. The 33-year-old scored 44 goals in 162 games for the Old Lady, winning the Serie A title 4 years in a row and reaching the 2016-17 Champions League final, in which his bicycle kick ended up winning him the UEFA Goal of the Year. Though he would never reach 20 league goals in a single season, his work rate and tenacity made him a nightmare to deal with. In the 2017-18 season, out of all the forwards in Serie A, only Fiorentina's Federico Chiesa attempted more tackles than Mandžukić, while the Croat ranked 4th for aerial duels. Though he easily could have stayed in Europe, Mandžukić hasn't played less than 30 games in a single season over the last decade, meaning a lucrative few years in Qatar could be the perfect way to start winding down. 1. Patrick Cutrone. After just half a season, Patrick Cutrone's time in England has come to an abrupt and disappointing end. The Italian forward has returned to Italy, this time with Fiorentina, having failed to settle at Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's despite Nuno Espirito Santo's team lighting up the Premier League and Europe with their exciting brand of football this campaign. Signed for just €18 million from AC Milan, it was thought Wolves had added yet another top European talent to their side, with Cutrone having scored 27 goals in 90 games for a defence-minded Rossoneri. But with Raul Jimenez being the main man for the West Midlands club, Cutrone found game time hard to come by. Just 9 starts in 24 appearances yielded just 3 goals for the Italian, and while he was averaging 3.4 shots per 90, failure to score more often did little to help his cause. Furthermore, he has since cited homesickness as an issue behind the move. He joined a Fiorentina side resting in 13th place on 25 points, so should get more opportunities to perform. The loan deal is for 18 months with an option to buy, so provided La Viola survives relegation, it may be a while before we see Cutrone on English shores again. So those were our 10 best transfers you may have missed this January, but can you name any more? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, why not click on screen right now? And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.